Before I get started, just quickly by a show of hands, how many of you believe that it's absolutely important to have total control over your spend management to be successful? Are you sure? That's it? Am I in the right room? Are these CFOs here? So how many of you believe spend management? Let me ask the question again. How many of you believe that total control over your spend management is critical and important to your business? Show of hands. So yeah, that's most of you. And how many of you believe that you have full visibility in your spend management? Okay, I'm in the right room. So just to let you know, when we ran this survey, this is the result. So 98% leaders, which is sort of most of the CFOs believe that yes, it's important, and 81% of those said that they don't have full control or visibility onto the spend that they have. So you're not different from most of the people from your fraternity. So pretty much in line with the survey conducted. But so I don't have to obviously talk to you about what your priorities are. And, different CFOs have different priorities, but when we talk to a lot of CFOs, it basically comes down to the three things over here. So it's cash flow and working capital management, reporting and analytics, and compliance and controls. So, I mean, do we agree if it's top five of your, if it's within top five, these three? Yes, no? Yeah, okay. There's also a fourth one, which some of the panelists earlier also mentioned, which is sustainability. But I'll leave that for now and focus on the bread and butter issues. I have another colleague coming in later, Ben, who's going to talk about sustainability, so I don't want to steal his thunder. So you're going to focus on these three for now. So obviously, as a CFO, and I think I'll quote from some of the members of the panel before, as a CFO, your responsibility is changing. It's no longer restricted to just, accounting and finance and reporting. It's much broader than that. And the CFOs are actually engaging a lot of people across the businesses. You're talking to HR to ensure how employee experience can be made better. You're talking to, your IT guys to see how things can move forward. And you're, of course, talking to shareholders, investor relations people. So obviously, there's a lot of work to be done. And yeah, sorry, 1 second. I'll just have a... Yep, sorry for that. So yeah, so obviously there's a lot of priorities changing, and in this changing environment, there's obviously a lot that you guys need to do, and real-time visibility into your spend is becoming increasingly important. Now, if I was to tell you that, as an HR manager, come in and say that, my employees are leaving, obviously you would be focused on, getting those data points to your CEO or your HR people to ensure. On the other hand, there's changing priorities. Retaining talent is important, and you have to make sure that. Sorry, apologies. 1 second, please. Okay, sorry about that. I think this should work now. Apple products are usually quite reliable. But yeah, no, the point I was trying to make was your work intersects intersects with a lot of departments across your organization. And you have to work with data and insight and work with a lot of these people within your organization. Now, did you know that 79% of the employees in an organization strongly link their overall finance and administrative experience with their overall satisfaction? So fair or not, the fact is that an expense management solution, a good expense management solution, can make or break the employee experience. Good tools would encourage compliance. Good tools would, ensure that your spend visibility is clear. With late submissions and everything, you never know that what spend is coming. You've budgeted for something and you see something else. So why am I telling you all of this today? So I was told that to talk about how you can future-proof your business with an intelligent spend management system. But what does an intelligent management system look like, right? So for that, in 2018, we partnered with an agency called IDC to study our customers and find out where they are in their expense management journey. And it came down to 5 things, really. And I'm going to reveal that here. So all of the organizations that we've worked with, and all of you, I would rather say, are somewhere on this graph over here, right? Now, if I was to talk about these, usually all organizations start with legacy applications. So these are, by definition, legacy. So they're dinosaurs, as I like to call them, and they're monolithic applications, usually based around your on-prem system, and they're very ad hoc in nature, reactive. Often invoices and processes are manual, and so there's not a lot of control that you have in terms of timeliness, etc. So what happens at this stage? And when an organization realizes that they're at this stage, they move on to an automated point solution, something like a Concur, for example, right? So you would move, there's a cloud-based system, you would have some applications in place, but what happens is that a lot of those tools are working in silos, right? So they're not talking to each other. So there's one spend management system for your expenses, there's something for your invoices, there's something for your meetings and events spend. So imagine a scenario. So we're sitting in a loft today, right? We're having this conversation. Now, a lot of you would have, so let's take the example of ET, for example, right? If an employee of Economic Times comes and stays at this hotel, he's going to do an expense, and it's going to get logged in some report in their expense management system, right? Now, ET is doing an event here. This event is going to get captured under a separate line item. Now, as a procurement guy or a finance guy, at a real time, you don't have any visibility on how much spend did we actually do at a loft, right? This is just a small example, because these systems are not talking to each other. The next step is when organizations decide that, you know what, we need something more connected, systems should talk to each other. That's when they link these with APIs or data sharing in some shape or form. So it's improved, but because all of these systems have been built in isolation, what tends to happen is that they talk to each other, but sometimes they're delayed. Sometimes there's issues with the translation as to what line goes where. And in the end, you always have someone sitting there talking about, I have to work on normalizing the data so I can give you that report. End result, you get visibility, but is it timely enough so that you can actually action on that data? And that's where the organizations work on an integrated application suite, where everything is based, so basically it's all of the good things of the number 3, but it's integrated on a same platform, so things can talk to each other real time, right? Now, that is a state where a lot of us want to be, but is that the best state? The answer is no. Why? We spoke about a lot of change happening, right? So if I set a policy today, is that relevant tomorrow? I don't know, right? The only way I can tell if that's relevant or not is if I can look at the data and get some insight. So when the data can tell me a story on a real-time basis and say that, you know what, you've had these policies for 3 months, this is not effective, that needs change. And that is when, the system can use intelligence or machine learning or AI, as a lot of you would call it, and predict and give you changes on a real-time basis so that you can adopt, right? So that is, in a nutshell, what the process looked like. Now, if I may ask you, where do you think you're in your journey on what step from 1 to 5? I mean, how many of you think you're in stage 1? Anybody? Stage 2, perhaps? Stage 3? Okay, some hands I see. Would you be surprised to know that 50% of the people that we surveyed actually sit in legacy applications? And the reason for that is that a lot of people don't realize. So you've built something around your legacy, but yeah, I mean, if you are in stage 4 or 5, kudos. But I think maybe take a minute to think about that. So why am I telling you this? Obviously, we have a solution. Yes, I'm not going to sell the solution. I'm just going to talk about the broad contours of what an intelligent management system looks like. Don't buy me, just buy the best one out there. This is the best, by the way. So, so basically, if you look at it, our system has 3 core modules, which is an expense, travel, and invoice. The idea is, I mean, there's sub-modules like approvals, etc., which track compliance and ensure that everything is being audited, and you can track your spend against your budget on a real-time basis. But essentially, what the system does is it captures the spend at the point of sale by integrating all of these different sources in one place. So going back to the example of Aloft, right? So as an employee, if I'm traveling and I spend in the travel system, that goes into my expense. But similarly, if over here, Aloft sends an invoice, it goes through the invoice system. And as a CFO, I know on a real-time basis what is the total spend that I am conducting with Aloft. So this can be across system, across different vendors, and you basically have good visibility into the spend. So that's the core of it. So yeah, just a minute left. So what are the benefits again? So obviously, excellent controls and compliance. You have real-time data. You can govern your spend effectively. This data can help you get closer to your budgets. You know exactly how much of your budget have you spent each year or how much have you overshot. You can, of course, all of this is being done. Underlying thing is employee experience. Now, we spoke about how a lot of employees leave because of bad experience with the finance department, right? There's a lot of traveler friction. We spoke about earlier, retaining employees for 5 years alone would be a great thing. So employee experience is also at the center of it. And with a lot of these apps, it cuts down a lot of the work that employees have to do manually. Now, the dream, of course, is a system where I go, swipe my card, it's auto-expensed, and I'm paid, or the card company is paid. I don't even have to touch it. That's the dream we are headed towards. Not there yet, but eventually. And of course, with all of this data at your fingertips, you can use it for effective optimizing your spend so that you can actually focus on your core work, which is helping the organization grow. So that's all I had, just to give you a view. If you want to know more, this was quite high level. We have a booth outside. Please come and join us during the networking break. And just before I leave, I wanted to leave you with some numbers here. Sorry, right here. So some numbers here on what's the benefit and payback that we've seen our clients achieve over a period of time, right? Any questions? I'm happy to answer. None? Okay. Cool. Thank you very much.